What's going on, everyone? This is Mitch. Hope you're enjoying your Wednesday evening. I got you an update on this winter storm coming in about the next 48 hours. It's really going to start cranking up and affecting people and really getting to the weekend, the meat of this storm. So there's a lot to discuss. There's a two-portion part of this video. We're going to start off by talking about areas in the southeast, and then we're going to work our way to the northeast because there's two elements to this. The Carolinas could experience some backside moisture, some wraparound moisture associated with the upper level low, whatever you want to call it. And this could be a sneaky event for areas of the Carolinas. I'm even talking about South Carolina as we're getting overnight Friday and to Saturday morning. It could drop a few inches for areas. I'm not talking about the mountains. I'm talking about outside the mountains, guys. So stay tuned for that. And then we're going to really talk about the meat of the storm, which I really think we've had bad trends all day for winter weather fans. There's a lot of people who obviously there's big time, I would say the majority of people who watch these videos are pulling for winter weather, right? So there's been east trends today, which is not a favorable trend for winter weather for big time, overfoot totals. So we're going to discuss that and how I think that we're going to start trend back favorable into a more favorable solution for more snowfall totals to get amped up across the eastern and basically the I-95 corridor. So if you guys have not subscribed, hit the subscribe button for me. Like the video if you like it. Hit me up on my social media links over there, Twitter, Facebook. It's a great way to stay up to date with constant updates on what's going on here. If you consider joining my channel, it's just a way to definitely support what I do monthly, and it's really appreciated. I've had a lot of people join over the last couple weeks, and I appreciate you guys so much. I got about, 12 to 15 members now. It's incredible. You guys are just supporting me so well, and it's just y'all are blessing me. So I appreciate all you guys so much. I really do. Thank y'all for the amazing support. So let's get going here because there's a lot to talk about. So we're going to take a look at this piece of energy. We're not going to stick on this long, guys, but I want to show y'all what's been going on and why it's been bad trends. So this is the latest run, the latest GFS run, right? We're going to back it up, say 4 or 5 runs. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, or 4. So right here. So this was the 18Z. This is 24 hours ago, right? When we had that really good run that showed snow, basically showed the meat of the storm hitting areas of the Carolinas even. And not just the backside moisture, but the actual main storm affecting the areas of the Carolinas. So you notice when I was moving that, how this lower piece of energy, the short wave, was basically it's digging more and it's speeding up more. I'm going to fast forward it to the most present run and watch what this does as I get to the most present run. So 1, 2, 3, 4, right? So it kind of gets almost forgotten about and left behind by this energy right here, and it flattens out. It's a progressive look, and it gets left behind. You don't need this to get left behind because you need these two to combine. You need the northern stream to pick up the southern stream, vice versa, and you need these to phase pretty quickly. So therefore, you can get a nice digging going on right here, but you really need this to dig right into here, almost phase into the Gulf, which is almost unrealistic at this point. But you need this to keep digging, and you look at 4 runs prior to this, 1, 2, 3, 4. It was already digging right here in the Georgia, but you speed up to the present run, and it's obviously just not a favorable dig for areas of the southeast to really get a major winter storm out of this. But there's the backside moisture. So let's look at the latest GFS and what it's showing. This is the one that just came out. Right, we're going to fast forward it. We're getting into Friday morning, Friday afternoon, Friday evening. This is getting overnight Friday into Saturday. Here it goes. The storm's cranking up. Low pressure develops, and it's starting to bring snow into areas of North Carolina and things like that, and then gets into the Delmarva area, southeast Virginia, Saturday morning. The storm really starts to cranking up, but notice it doesn't even make it to Washington, D.C., and it barely makes it to Philadelphia and Baltimore and New York City. And then it really clips areas of Cape Cod and Boston pretty well, especially Cape Cod on the latest GFS, and really hit some pounds on what looks to be blizzard conditions for this area. So that's the GFS, right? So let's look at the latest European, which just came out, guys, right? So let's get going here, and we'll take a look at it here. And this is what we're going to start looking at now. So latest European kind of gets going here. We're getting into around the midnight to 1 a.m. time frame Saturday morning, and check out this back edge of precipitation wrapping into the Carolinas. We're going to get a closer look at this here in a second. This is what I'm talking about for the Carolinas that could be tricky. It gets going really as early as Friday evening, and it kind of comes off the mountains, if you will. It's almost like a northwest flow event that kind of breaches containment and gets deeper into the Carolinas outside the mountains, if you will here. It reminds me kind of I don't know if you people who are really into weather and from the Carolinas remember the mid-February, I think it was February 16th, 2013. It was a really crazy band of snow that almost came off the mountains, and there was lightning and thunder with it. It covered the ground in minutes, and it was just wild. It was very convective in nature. This has a chance to be convective in nature, which means there's the possibility you can get a crack of thunder while it's pouring snowing in this band. And this is a band you have to watch out for. This gets going here. We're getting into overnight, deeper into the overnight hours into Saturday, and this stretches all the way into the Midlands of South Carolina, and then gets all the way through North Carolina, and then makes it all the way to Charleston and just south of Charleston. It's incredible here as this wraps around. But then you look, I'm gonna focus on you folks in the Mid-Atlantic and Northeast here in a second. I'm not leaving y'all guys behind by not talking about you. Bear with me. I'm going to talk about you guys. I am. But, obviously, this is close enough for far areas of Northeast North Carolina to get into the main energy of the storm, where you guys could see some heavier snowfall totals getting into Southeast Virginia also. This would give areas like Richmond, Virginia some snow also. Gets into the Delmarva area. I really think the Delmarva area could see several inches of snow at any given location. I know people want me to say exact locations, but just know your region. I know you guys do, but when I say the Delmarva area, I'm really talking about especially areas in the southern areas of that region. But this is getting up into areas of New Jersey, things like that. Remember, I'm going to focus on this in the latter half of this video, okay? Look at the Canadian model from today. This gets going here, but it shows that band. It shows that band of snow wrapping through here, wrapping into the Carolinas. It looks really light, but it could potentially be heavy. And it's really too far east to be an extremely impactful storm for areas of the eastern U.S. The Canadian, I will tell you the 18Z Canadian, which I don't have pulled up, it looked a little better than the 12Z Canadian. It came a little bit more west. Let's look at the NAM. The NAM is really interesting. It really shows this band. As this gets going here, storm cranks up. The NAM is quite aggressive as far as this backside band really here. As we're getting into the 18Z, which the OOZ run is going to come out here in the next hour or so there'll be new data. But brings this wraparound snow into the Carolinas. This would be a nice band of snow. It almost gets it all the way as we're getting into Saturday morning into areas of eastern Georgia. It's crazy. But this could be an intense band of snow showing up here. I'm going to show how much snow is showing from these backside bands. But you keep the NAM going, and it's a complete whiff for the I-95 corridor, except areas of Cape Cod. This run definitely upset a lot of people in the Mid-Atlantic and the Northeast today, and rightfully so. I'm pulling for you guys too. The RGEM model, which has been pretty consistent with showing a non-event, is really coming together and showing, here we go, we're getting into as early as Friday afternoon, but it really wants to shoot this band, here it comes, this band of snow into areas of South Carolina. And you've got this banding feature in North Carolina. This could put down anywhere from a dusting to 3 or 4 inches of snow in any given location. It's going to be very sporadic Saturday morning. So you might go to sleep with nothing going on in the Carolinas, especially the Central Carolinas and the Piedmont and the Midlands, with nothing going on. And you wake up with maybe an inch or two of snow on the ground. It's just going to be kind of like that. But this cranks up, and it really just doesn't quite get to areas of New Jersey, Delaware. It doesn't really hit these guys hard. Long Island, you guys are sticking out east enough to really get into the meat of the storm, but not really the most intense part. But, this model it just doesn't get quite west enough to really be a major storm. I'm talking about a foot and a half of snow. We'll talk about that in a minute. We'll take a look at the closer look at the latest, and this is old data, so we'll skip this. But you take a closer look at the NAM here, and it does a really good job of showing the snow. Now, it's the NAM. I say it does a really good job, but sometimes it does an awful job, right, like with the last storm. But it shows the real possibility here of snow. And this has been the most consistent feature with this storm system. It really has. It hasn't really moved. If anything, it's uptrended as far as how much snow can fall on this back edge moisture right here. And this can really overproduce. It really can. It can drop a quick inch or two in areas that we're maybe just calling for a 40% chance of rain and snow showers overnight. These can drop. And this is going to be something that we're probably going to get into Friday afternoon, Friday evening here in the next 2 days. And all of a sudden, if this keeps showing up, all of a sudden it's going to be trending into a much bigger event. I don't know if it'll be big enough to prompt winter storm warnings because of one band of snow, but it can drop a few inches of snow. I'm telling you guys, it really could. Closer look at the RGEM model, and shows the same thing. Shows that back edge snow moving in overnight Friday into early Saturday morning and making it all the way to Charleston, Myrtle Beach, Wilmington, to the Eastern Carolinas. How much snow could this dump? Well, if you look at the latest NAM, maybe a half an inch of snow in Columbia, half an inch of snow showing up in Augusta, inch of snow in Charlotte, shows an inch and a half in Myrtle Beach. Please don't see these totals and think that they're going to happen. This wholesale is going to happen. This is going to be maybe a tricky storm for the Outer Banks. This might be a storm where the Outer Banks sees more snow than everybody in the Carolinas. So, but you see how sporadic it is. You have this weird band of snow of almost 3 to 4 inches shooting up through here in the Triad of North Carolina, and then you have this weird gap. That's going to be how it is. Some people are not going to get hit, and some people are. And you look at this area north of Augusta showing 1 inch of snow. It's really sporadic. You look at the latest, this is the latest RGEM model, which I just showed you earlier, shows an inch of snow in Columbia, but only shows not even a half an inch for Charlotte. And look at all these sporadic totals showing up here. So it's a big question mark with how this backside band comes together. It really is. And then you take a look at the latest Euro. The Euro wants to drop 2 to 3 inches of snow in the Charlotte area, and then a little over a half an inch in Columbia, and a 1 inch of snow in Sumter. And then, there's just so much disagreement with this band. What is consistent with this band is the fact that it's showing snow. And it shows snow that wraps up all the way. It shows it basically snowing off the coast of South Carolina. It's wild, and it wants to print out 2 to 3 inches of snow off the coast of South Carolina. Obviously, not literal, but unless you're a ship out there and you can measure 2 inches of snow for us, that would be incredible. But let's talk a lot about the Mid-Atlantic and the Northeast as we're getting going here. So first off, what we can tell you is this. Let's go on and look at this. This is the potential snowfall totals for areas into the Mid-Atlantic and Northeast. So, look at this. You got Baltimore, Philadelphia, into Washington, D.C. This wants to give Washington, D.C. a solid 2 inches of snow from the latest Euro, right? But, you got Philadelphia and Baltimore, things like that are right on the edge from seeing, 8 to 10 inches of snow or just 2 to 4 inches of snow. I've seen some crazy forecast totals coming out of the New York City area where they're saying y'all could get anywhere from 2 to 20 inches of snow in it. That is totally accurate. It really is. And I know that's going to make a lot of people upset, but that's the reality of this situation. And you notice the latest Euro gives New York City surrounding areas anywhere from 6 to 8 inches of snow. But then you go way out on Long Island and you get into the most eastern tip of Long Island and you have 1.5 feet of snow. And it's not like y'all haven't seen any of these crazy tight gradients before, and I know y'all have, but it goes to show you that there is a beast waiting just offshore to get pushed onshore. And I'm telling you guys, even though there's been east trends today, this could easily trend back west tomorrow. It's just, I've been hashtagging today Bad Trends Wednesday because we had the same thing last Wednesday for the Southeast where we had bad trends all day. And then all of a sudden, overnight Wednesday into Thursday, then getting into Thursday, we had nothing but good trends all day. So hopefully that good energy follows through with this system. So we'll look at the latest GFS and a closer look at what's going on here. It's pretty much just a whiff for the big cities. It really is. For the I-94/5 corridor, it brings heavier snow into Maine and Boston, but the heaviest stuff is just offshore. It really is. It doesn't really get the meat of this into really Vermont, into western or New Hampshire, and doesn't get into western Massachusetts really. It's not much of an event for Connecticut. Rhode Island gets hit a little bit, but for the interior areas of New York, Pennsylvania gets pretty much whiffed altogether from the latest GFS. But you look at something like the latest Euro, and it comes more inland. It comes more inland. So areas like eastern Pennsylvania, it starts to get close. It starts to show some nice banding coming up in Baltimore and Philadelphia. It gets very close to Washington, D.C. You get up to Boston, and then y'all get absolutely slammed here in Boston per the latest Euro, especially as the low pressure gets really close. When you start to see this right here, these colors showing up on Pivotal, it's absolutely dumping blizzard type conditions right here. But this just slams areas. And it actually shows the low pressure kind of stalling out briefly and then going on out back out the sea into the North Atlantic. So the latest Euro is much different than the GFS and much more aggressive, and shows basically a classic nor'easter and a major snowstorm. So if you're looking at the latest European, which goes out to 90 hours, it dumps almost 20 inches of snow on Boston and surrounding areas. And, you know, like I said, you got heavy snowfall totals sitting just offshore if you're in New York City, Baltimore, Philadelphia, down to Delaware. It shows the Delmarva area getting hit hard with 8 to 12 inches of snow in any given location. And yeah, guys, I mean, it's really close. It's really close. I know that a lot of people are bummed out saying, oh, it's going to be a whiff now. I'm telling you, these things can trend right back in a more favorable condition here, scenario here. But I will mention the winds are going to be wild. This isn't even a good graphic showing it, but this is 40 to 50 to 60 knot winds pushing into southern New England. You guys are used to this kind of stuff. Not used to it. It's not like it happens every week. But y'all have seen this story before, right? So 40 to 60 mile per hour wind gusts is possible with this, as you basically have a nor'easter, which, you know, is what happens with nor'easters. So power outages, heavy wet snow. Y'all know the deal up here. Dangerous situation that's going to be cranking up as you get into your Saturday. But this is the latest ensembles from the European from 12Z. Now I want to see if the latest from basically, let's see. No, we have not gotten into basically the 18Z yet, so I can't show you the latest ensembles for the European model from the 18Z. But this was from the 12Z, still a solid signal showing up for areas of the Northeast. And then you look at the latest. Dadgum, I got this everywhere, guys. I was not prepared. Let's see if I can get here. Let's go to maps. And let's go to the GEFS mean. So this is the GEFS mean from the 18Z. That's a solid signal now showing up in North Carolina and Virginia. And that's just because of this banding. You know, you've got an 1.5 inch mean showing up in areas of Charlotte. So it's actually increasing in the Carolinas, especially North Carolina, but it's obviously still just not there yet for areas in the Mid-Atlantic, and then increases for areas of southern New England. So that's all I got, guys. Sorry the video is a little bit later tonight. It's been a busy night, but stay tuned. This is going to keep changing, guys. I swear it is. Bad trends Wednesday is going to end, and we're going to have good trends tomorrow. So y'all have a great night, and stay safe and stay blessed.